Let's talk about the effects of the diplomatic expulsions. Senior political analyst Brit Hume is here with us tonight. Good evening, Brit. Your thoughts on this and what it means?
Well, this is another example of, I think, a key lesson that people need to learn about the Trump administration, which is that what the president says and what he does are frequently very different indeed. All those things that Kevin just ticked off that the president has done undermine Russian interests in many ways. Indeed, our whole energy policy undermines Russian interests because it holds oil prices down, and the Russian economy really is built on that. It has been described, as you know, Brett, as a gas station with nuclear weapons. So that's but one example. These expulsions today are another. That follows the closing of the consulate in San Francisco earlier still. And meanwhile, of course, the president is calling Putin on the phone to congratulate him on his victory and in many ways is acting as if he's got a deep hunch that he and Vladimir Putin are going to compose their relationship and have a real cooperative arrangement. But the actions he's taken do not indicate that he's pursuing that, at least in terms of what he's doing. So this is one example. There are many others, but that's something that we need to keep an eye on. Watch what he does, not so much what he says.
Yeah. As you said, the critics are very loud and boisterous that the president is not saying the right things and that he's not communicating the message publicly. But yet the list of things we just saw in Kevin's piece obviously is action.
Yeah, and look at another area here. The president comes out and says, trade wars are easy to win, and he imposes these sanctions on steel and aluminum. And the next thing you know, of course, he's exempting allies right and left from that. And now, despite the fact that they're supposed to be in effect with China, we learned today, and the stock market certainly noticed today, that negotiations are now underway to work something out with China. Again, a case of saying one thing and the actions tend to point in another direction, proving that, as in so many instances, the president's bark is worse than his bite.
Where do you think this goes with Russia? Do you think, Britt, this is the beginning of another Cold War, in essence?
Well, I think that relations are pretty tense, and I think it's almost certainly true that there will be expulsions of Americans or other measures taken by Russia to respond to this. But the question then becomes all right, once that's done, what is the message that Vladimir Putin takes away from these actions? I think he will probably take away the notion that President Trump, while he would like to have a good relationship with him, is not really going to be pushed around, and that could lead in a positive direction. Putin's a hard-eyed man who I think understands, actions do obviously speak louder than words, and there may be a chance after this settles down a little bit to forge a more cooperative relationship that would have to be based on Russian behavior. And as the analyst that you quoted in the earlier piece noted, that there are still further actions the U.S. could take that are well short of any military action or anything truly deeply belligerent that would make a difference in Russia. So we'll see, but we got a long way to go here.
Britt, as always, thank you.